New location this morning. Where are we? 3 guesses. Three guesses. We have paper. We have Baron. We have some stuff around. Tokyo. Of course I'm in Tokyo. That's one guess. Party room. Yes, I'm in the party room. It's an early party this morning. There's no customers here. There's no customers here at all. We're having an early party. It's a one-man party. It's a one-man party called Let's Play Microwave. I've got to get moving on this. I have got to get moving on this. I've got to get moving on this. Some of the staff and I, what is it? Today's Sunday. Although yesterday was insane. Friday I wasn't here for TV. Thursday was busy. Wednesday, some of the staff and I got the blocks out. We had a couple of hours with no parties. We tried it and we got through. We got some things good. We needed some adjustments. So the past couple of evenings I've been making some adjustments. Today's time to run another test on the microwave blocks. I have to say we're still quite a ways away from putting this into production because there's still so many things that make it difficult for people to do. We've got some test prints. You'll see. We'll talk about it as I go through this morning. What's going on with this thing? What's good about it? What's troublesome about it? And what we're going to do to try and solve the problems and get this into production. You know, we're committed to it now. We're going to get this out onto the party room benches. But it's still... it's going to be difficult. So, anyway, I don't know how long the stream will be today. I've got the 5 blocks here. I've got some batch of paper. You'll see me testing. We'll talk about the things that are difficult. And we'll get a close-up view of the microwave. I should have worn a different shirt, but what's done is done. Can't be helped. Okay, are we up? Are we running? Okay, it's 5 blocks, this print. We'll see them as they go. The normal Great Wave print has, it's usually done, it's done in different ways, but it's usually done with 4 pieces of wood carved on both sides with 8 impressions. Different publishers do it a different way. There's 3 blues, a light, a medium, and a dark, and sometimes the dark blue is done on 2 blocks with wide areas and narrow areas. There's the boat color, the sky color. What else? Oh yeah, and the gradation behind the mountain. So sometimes it's on 3 blocks, sometimes on 4. Our version, the microwave version, is on 5 pieces of wood, and you'll see them as we go through. What we've done with our version is we've taken the original. I don't have the full one here, but I've got that's just for this. You can see it. But the original version has a light blue and a medium blue and a dark blue. And some of these layer on top of each other. We've split it down to 2 to try and make it doable by people in the party room. We've split it down to 2. So there'll be a medium and a light blue area. And this corresponds on the original print to both. The light blue behind, it corresponds to the light blue behind the waves and the medium one. We've put these 2 together. So our party version is going to have a lighter blue and a darker blue. And if I hadn't told you, you probably wouldn't have noticed anyway. Okay, let me get going on this. And this very first step is one of the things we are having problems with in the customer training. We normally prepare our pigments in a bowl in liquid form. For example, the Peach Boy print that we're running here has a bowl full of red pigment. And for our normal printing for us, we mix the pigments quite rich. And when we want a thin, delicate color, the Peach Boy print actually has a peach color. It doesn't have this deep red color. We slather it on the block, and the white paper showing through gives the pigments a lighter tint. But how much you put on the block determines the tint of this. And no matter how well we've shown the customers, just do one dab, there's always the person that comes along and goes bam, 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 bam. And no matter what you tell them, they frequently put too much on or not enough on. Now with the Peach Boy print, it didn't matter. The boy had a lighter tone or a deeper tone, whatever. But on this print, it's going to be critical. So we're struggling with how to do this. Even when the staff was printing it last Wednesday, they got huge variations in the tones. So I think what we're perhaps going to do is, instead of having paste and pigment applied separately, like we ourselves do, we put a dab of pigment on and we put a dab of paste on, what we might do is we might mix those two things together. So we have no separate pigment that they can't screw around with, and we will have a colored paste. And if you put too much of that on, it won't change the depth of the color. It makes it a bit richer and bobbier, but it doesn't change the actual color itself. So that's something that we're holding in reserve. At the moment today, I'm going to do it in the normal way because I know how to control what I'm doing. Loose brush here. We'll get lots of loose brush hairs. These are brand new brushes coming into service for this print. Okay, let's go. I'll run a few sheets of paper here. There's going to be some variation. This is going to be another problem for beginners too. The Peach Boy print we've got, we just tell them, bang in the middle of the paper and rub, and that's where we've put the design. Doing the microwave, the great way, we have no such choice. The design is chosen, so we're going to have to carefully tell them where to rub. Okay, first color. I think that's going to be a little bit too dark. Let's see, we'll find out. Keep it moist, of course, it goes back in. That's too dark, so I won't do any pigment, just add a bit of extra paste. This is print room paper, absolutely. There's no point in testing it with real washi because it behaves so much differently. We'll test it with print room paper, of course. The print room paper is technically washi, but it's machine made. It's not handmade paper at all. It's hugely pulp. I mean, we're not trying to pretend that this is some delicate, handmade washi paper. It's a large percent of pulp. It's a student grade paper, very inexpensive. If we tried to use real washi for these parties, not only would the price have to be double, but it would be much, much more difficult for the people to make the prints. This paper is stable and strong, and bang, you can rough it up, and it just bounces straight back. Here we go, first problem. Block was too dry. I'm imitating a poor person doing this print. This is going to be a problem too. When we built the bench here, we had to figure out how high do we do it. This is way lower than I would want a perfect bench to be, that I can see the light shining on this. But of course, we've got tall people coming for the party. We've got short people, it's not just kids. It's Japanese, foreigners, all. So we really tried to figure out what was a good height for these benches. And overall, it's succeeded, but it's definitely too low for me. And there was 5 guys yesterday, five big guys from America. And they're all like, after doing 2 prints, they're all complaining, my back is sore, my back is sore. How much bark? There's no bark here. This is it's just a production paper. It's totally clean and clear. If there's any mulberry in there, I'd be very surprised. Okay, a little bit lighter in tone. I haven't been putting any pigment on. I've been letting it get a bit lighter. Let's do one more. We'll do a run of 4 here today, I guess, through. See how it goes. The hardest, we do have steps. We have kids' steps, which we bring out for little kids. But to bring it much higher than this would be, I think, too difficult. I don't know. We have kids' steps, of course. We were even thinking of, do we have a bench that goes up and down? But there's 4 blocks on our bench. You can't up and down with 4 different people. 2 short people, 2 tall people working on this. We've just averaged it out. So for someone like me, it's a tad on the short side. And for the little kids, it's a tad on the high side, of course. So the block's warming up now. It's a bit better. When you make prints by yourself, it's a real tough part. You know, the block's always too dry when you get to it. The people printing in groups, it's no problem. Our new members coming in. This is the microwave. The microwave. Capital M, please. With a TM mark. Microwave. Trademark. Mokohanga, Tokyo. See if you can trademark that word. Good luck on that, Dave. Okay, there we go. The other thing about this print too is registration, you know, of course. These dots, the dots that represent the foam. Gee, that looks green on my monitor, you know, it's blue in real life here. See that? Look at this. It's blue on that camera and green on this camera. Gotta get the white balance. Anyway, whatever. Distracted. The white dots, they will appear on 2 blocks, this block and the block you'll see at the end. So registration is, I'd say critical, but registration is a big deal. Normally we use quite small registration marks, but for these print party prints, we've giganticized. The registration marks are huge. It's like a landing. The paper comes in and heads to the corner and bang, ends up in a corner. Same thing on this side. The paper just hits here and slides down until bang, it hits that mark. We've just learned, we ourselves want tiny registration marks for perfect location. Customers can't do that. They jam it in too hard, the corner of the paper collapses and it's all dead. Okay, 1 block done. I've got 5 blocks here. Let's put this to the back and see what's next. And what we've done with this one is we've combined 2 of the blocks from the original print. On the original print, I should have prepared one here. I didn't. I got that fan with you to see it. No. On the original print, the sky is a very faint color and the boats have a faint woody color. And they're actually different in the original print, but we've combined them. They're close enough that it doesn't matter. And we're trying to make this doable for people in a 1-hour print session. They're going to go through this and get 2 copies in a 1-hour session. Ha ha ha. This is another questionable thing too. The staff doesn't think that's possible, but we'll see. What do we got? Questions. Question about yesterday's stream. Hang on a sec here. Some of the prints had registration marks. Jed includes the registration marks on the images he sends you. How do you know that? I mean, whatever. He sends me a Photoshop file. We ignore those registration marks. We build our own. When Jed sends me the file for a print, the recent setup between him and I, he sends me a layered Photoshop file. We don't use it as it is, but anyway, we can see how he built it. So the first step for us, I just ignore the colors at first, and his key lines. And I take those and I take it from his Photoshop file and I put it into a master file I've created myself. Now these prints are being built in series. We do the series of Ukiyo-Hira's prints. It's on the same size paper, same size blocks. We do the series of Legendary Loot, same size paper, same size blocks. And Jed's very unreliable. I don't mean in an evil way. He's unreliable in terms of resolution. He might do a resolution at whatever, 3000 DPI, and another one will come in at 350 DPI. They're all different. It's just whatever he opens a Photoshop file as. So we've learned that we can't trust that. So we take his file And I've got my own master files with registration corners and a set resolution and border marks and paper size, everything all set. I scoop his key lines into it, adjust them to fit that, to fit our master resolution, which we need at least 600 or so to carve, but he sometimes sends 350, and that's not good enough. When you're carving a 350, you can see the dots. We need to see smooth lines. So long story short, no. We just extract Jed's thing, put it into our own file, and work from there. These are in series, and we have to make everything exactly the same each month. I think I heard the question box. I haven't heard that in quite a while. I don't even remember what it sounds like, but I think that's what it was. I think I heard the question box. Also, something has happened here. Twitch has decided to come alive. Question box. Twitch questions. Yes, they're indeed a question. Oh, there's 100 questions here. Wait a minute. There's too much to answer. I'm sorry. It's a question about what percentage of paste and stuff. I don't know. Somebody's asking, can I make a size for a dose of sizing paper based on rice, paste, and alum? And I have no idea. I don't know. I've never tried that. I don't know. Somebody doesn't want to use animal products. You're going to have to do some experimentation. I'm sorry. I have no idea if you can do that, nor do I have the time and inclination to sit here and try it with a batch of paper that I don't want to waste. I'm sorry, I just don't know. We size with gelatin and alum. It works for us, and that's our formula. Try it. Okay, now we've got our, what do we have? 4 sheets, 5 sheets? I'm going to turn them upside down now. Always, when we're making a batch of prints, we keep them in the same order. So number 1 is now back up on the top. I'm going to slide them under the sheets. Of course, for those of you who don't know, that we've got to keep the paper absolutely at the same moisture from the beginning of the process to the end of the process. And as you'll see after step 2 or step 3 here in a few minutes, because I'm putting on so much moisture with the pigment, the paper starts to get a bit too wet. You'll see how we handle that as we get there. Where's my paste? And this one too, we don't need too much pigment, just a touch. And to avoid customers putting too much on, we're probably going to mix the pigment and paste together. And here now we're going to run into another reason why this microwave print is going to be difficult for our party attendees. You can see what we have here. We've got the sky area and the boats area, and the middle is empty. Now we could easily tell them, look, don't rub pigment here, just rub on the outside, but 1 out of every 4 people is going to rub in the middle. It's going to get messy real quick. And then the next one, when you put the paper on, you now can't see where to rub at all. But luckily, from the first step onwards, now we've got some glue on there, we've got a bit of background on that paper that we can see, so we'll be able to tell them what to do. Here, I'll try that as I do mine now. It's all moist. Let's do this. We're imagining this is a print buddy situation. The people are putting their paper on the block. In they go. But we can now tell them, because they can see the wave. So we can tell them, look, here's a boat. Rub this boat. Small, tight circles. Now, here's another boat. Rub it. So we can point, but we're going to have to ride herd on it. Rub the first boat, rub the second boat, rub the third boat. Bingo. And now the rest is stay away from the middle and go up to the top. And they don't want to do this because it looks like they're off the print. But the center of the tool has to go in the area to print. Look at this. It looks like they're off. They're going to come down here and it'll be a disaster. So we're going to have to ride her. Oop, yes, no, higher, oh, wait. Bingo, there we go. It's starting to come together. I think, again, that's a bit too dark for the sky. The cloud looks a bit too much like a ghost shape. Already with me doing it, already we're getting too much pigment on here. Let's try and bring it down a bit. What we'll do is this. I put some paste on, mixed it up, and let's wipe. There's enough residual pigment left in the brush that I haven't wiped everything off, of course. You can see that, the color tone won't be all that different. Here it is, a bit lighter. Down we go. There's still lots of pigment left in the brush and around the block. Remember what happens when we brush pigment out here? We brush it over the printing areas and the nearby areas. You can see the pigment now is on top of the wood and on the nearby places. And when we print it, it pulls the pigment only off the wood. It doesn't affect the stuff that was around the outside. So the pigment there gets picked up to be used again, mixed with the pigment that's in the brush. This is a bit different from what people have told me about the Western way. You roll it on top of your block with a brayer, that goes into the printing press, it picks up the pigment that had been put on with the brayer, and there's no more pigment left. The block is cleaned off pretty much completely. You then have to reapply from zero each time. Well, we don't do that. There's lots of pigment left on the wood and in the brush. So we just have to top it up each time. We don't have to start again from zero. This is what helps our print stay even. The color from one to the next doesn't change so much if we, as long as we're careful with what we're doing. There's an inertia there. Registration looks good. I think we're okay. One more copy of this. Okay, there's our first two colors on the 4. Under they go again to keep the order the same. Number 1 is now on the top again. We stagger them a bit too to try and keep the water spread out, not all bundled up in the same place. Okay, block number 2 is done. Let's move on to block number 3. Here is where the fun begins. This is going to be a gradation. It's the first time we ever tried having gradations in our print parties. and we have no idea. It might be absolute total chaos. We don't have any idea. Now, this needs a lot of explanation. Let's see. First, the concept. When you print gradations, this one's going to have darker color at the bottom, moving up to a lighter color at the top. We don't paint the gradation on the block. The gradation happens inside the brush. If we want, you saw me move around the brush, mix around the brush, mix around the brush. The color was spread evenly all over the blocks. This one's a gradation, so the brush and block must match. You can see what I've done here. I've put two lines on the block, C, D, C, D. I've put C and D on the brush, and the motion of the brush is going to match those lines. You'll see it as we go forward, but the point is the gradations are inside the brush. There will be pigment only at the bottom. At the top will be paste and water. And as I wipe side by side, side by side, side by side, the pigment creeps up, the paste creeps down, they match each other in the middle of the brush, and we get a gradation. But it's all got to be done exactly in the same place each time. And another part, the block has to be moistened. You've got a conversation going here. I can't really follow it all and do this explanation at the same time. I'm sorry, but whatever. Is this a predecessor to Gutenberg? No, this stuff is late. This stuff was, woodblock printmaking is in every country from time immemorial. But the ukiyo-e tradition of printmaking, this is from the late 1600s into the 1700s to 1800s. So this follows, it didn't follow Gutenberg in the sense that Gutenberg showed them how to do it, but it's later actually than European press printing. Okay, now, what did I do? To make the block wet, we're going to use this, a piece of wood with some cloth on it. At the moment, this is all dry. It's a piece of wood with some cloth. I'm going to roll it round. It's just a kitchen towel. I don't know what you call it. I've got to get some pins. So here we are. It's a piece of wood you saw with a bit of kitchen towel wrapped around it. It's quite a strong towel. It's the kind they use like workshop J towels or whatever they're called. I forget. And we need to make this moist. My bucket is over there, excuse me. And the rubbing pad gets a tile and the brush gets a tile. And what we're going to do for the production when people are doing this themselves is the block has C and D. You'll see A and B coming up later. This has C and D. We're going to write C and D on the tile. They put it down C and D. This is going to have C and D. We write it down, bang. So they know exactly where to put it. If you reverse it, the dark side gets on the light side and it's going to be chaos. What's this storyteller? Whatever. Now we'll also need pigment. Okay, I've stolen a tiny dab of black from the other party materials over there. Water, water, water. Still a bit too black. Let me water it down. What we want here is just enough to give us a gray, a faint gray. We don't want this to be black. What's the question? Will you get a copy of the TV show from the producers? I hope they'll send me one, I guess. I suppose so. No idea. But I won't be able to do anything with it, you know. I can't put it on YouTube or anything. It's not my property. So I'll have no way to show it to you. I'm sorry. Maybe 10 years have gone by or something, whatever. But okay, here's how it's going to work. What I'll do, actually, let me get a test piece of paper first. We've got 4 prints we're making now. Let me reach in and get another blank piece of paper to use as a test here. And here's how gradations work. The wet cloth goes across and lightly dampens the block first. This is still too dry. Right, there we go. Then paste, as I said, at the top of the printing zone and pigment at the bottom of the printing zone. The brush now staying exactly between the lines mixes things up. And a tiny bit of circular motion, I'll try and exaggerate here, tiny bit of circular motion pulls the pigment up and the paste down, and they're going to blend together somewhere in the middle. This may be too light still, let's find out. That goes away. Let's get our test sheet of paper here. Can't see where I am, but I think we can remember. And we have what we hope will be a gradation. Gray at the bottom, going up, 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 bit by bit by bit, until it disappears into nothing. This is the first of 2 gradations that will be on this print. Okay, let's put that away. Let's do the 4 copies. Paste at the top of the printing area, pigment at the bottom. Again, stay in the lines, Dave. Back and forth, a little bit of circular motion. Let's go. Copy number 1. We'll be able to tell. You can see the boats now. Print 1 boat, 2 boat, now into the sky, and we'll be yelling at them. Small, tight circles. Small, tight circles. There's the first one. I think it's still a bit too light. We can probably safely go darker than that because this is also going to be a big, big dark one. Let me darken this up just a tad. I'm going to put a bit of black in here. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. Everything has to go back in exactly the same place, has to line up with the lines. If you don't do that, after 4 or 5 or 6 prints, your color is going to be all over the place. With a gradation, you have to be exactly, mechanically, robotically exact in all your positioning. Otherwise, every print will have a different gradation. For the people doing a party, it won't matter, but for us, you know, of course, this is our Bread and butter. The gradations must be the same. I'm not quite sure the registration here. It should be going up. Also now, putting the paper into the, I'm putting the second one upside down. If we put the prints in the sheet here, one by one, straight up, straight up, straight up, straight up, the area that got the water is all going to be stacked up together. It'll be too wet there and too dry somewhere else. So I'm flipping them. The area that got the water on the first sheet was here. The area that got the water on the second sheet's here. Flip, 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 flip. It makes the next step a bit more difficult. Some of them are upside down, but we've got to try and equalize the moisture in this stack. Absolutely, we got to equalize the moisture. I'm not quite sure what you guys are talking about. I've missed so many of the questions here. I'm sorry. What we're also doing here is we're putting a bit of tone on the boats as well. The grey that's going in the sky is also adding a darker tone to the boats. And look at this, we've got a blob here. If even I'm making a blob here, oh, I see, okay. So this area, we're going to have to cut this down. If even Dave is making blobs, the customers are going to go to town on that. The deeper you go, though, the harder it is to get the paper in there. We'll see. One more on here. I'll try to remember to stay away from this area. And we need to swing wide to get a good gradation. Now there's a mess here, so can't be helped, can it? If we start getting the people to wipe their prints, they'll dry, it'll be chaos. 19th of September, not for today, no rush on that one. Okay, there we go. So there we are after 3 colors. Now the paper is now getting kind of wet and kind of saturated in the middle. Now with our Peach Boy print and the Sensoji print, the other party prints we're doing, up to now everything has had 3 color blocks and then a key block. So what we've done with all the print parties up to now, we print the 3 color blocks, bang, bang, bang. We don't rotate them on the bench. The blocks are on the bench and people work their way down. And after they've done 3 color blocks, the paper is like this. It's starting to get a bit wet in the middle. It's drier on the outside. It's not so stable. So in all the print parties up to now, after 3 blocks, we take a break. We give them some coffee and tea in the winter and juice and whatever in summer. And they then come back to the key block. Now this series is going to be 5. So instead of doing 4 and 1, we're going to take a break. And during a real print party, at this point, we will take a break. We will send the customers over to there, sit down, chat with each other, have some fun. The staff then comes back to this stack. The staff member who runs the print party comes back here, feels the paper, and if necessary, puts a bit of water around the dry outsides of the paper. Now, feeling mine here right now today, I don't think it's necessary for me to do that. I've been keeping control of it pretty well. But for the customers, the middle might be soaked and the outside might be dry. I'm just going to ride with it. I think I'm okay. But the paper can now sit for a few minutes because it definitely is too wet in the middle. And at this point, so the staff is getting the paper ready. If there's 2 staff members, it's fine. One is feeding them coffee, one is touching the paper. If it's only 1 staff member on the party, which sometimes happens because the shop is busy as well, then that staff member has to get the paper ready. It's got to feed them coffee, chat with them, keep them occupied. It's work. It's work, it's work, it's work. Anyway, today is not a real print party, so I will now just move on to the next step. And this next one, step 4, is also a gradation, and this is where we separate. What's the new expression? We used to say separate the men from the boys. What do we say nowadays? What expression has replaced that? And that, of course, is going to disappear. We have a separate tile and separate pad for this one. Running out of space to keep stuff here. This one's shorter. It's got its own tile, its own pad. You can see what happens now. The water thing gets black at the bottom and white at the top. It's got to go bang in the same place on the tile. If you move it around or rotate it, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. We're going to write A, B on here. The brush has A, B. The tile is going to have A, B. The pad is going to have A, B. And they're still going to screw it up. John, what are you doing? Trying to get me in trouble? Also, I've moistened the block now with this brush. This won't be part of a print party, but the blocks right now are totally dry. Give me a minute, it's got to warm up here. The block has to get moist, so I'm going to get some more water, excuse me. So this is brush A and B coming into service. It's a bit dry. You can see this brush, it's got pigment at the bottom and it's clear at the top. Speaking of break time and drinks, you know, I haven't had breakfast yet. Oh, I'm standing right in front of the refrigerator. Today's stream brought to you by, oops, not at this time of day. I didn't have a beer last night. I fell asleep in the party room here without, excuse me. The other day, Teiko-san was joking about this. She saw me doing this, and she says, "Dave, I'm going to write to them. Don't get me in trouble." I don't think it was premium malts, John. You saw the color of the can. That can is the color. It's the cheaper stuff. I bought some cheap junk last night. Last night I bought Ebisu. The one John's thinking about, premium malts, has a similar colored can. I think they're trying to confuse consumers about this, but I don't know. It's not my game. This is not a very high quality beer. It's just whatever, when you're thirsty or whatever, just throw it down. High quality beer. I don't think there's such a thing in Japan. Yeah, same company, kind of Sapporo, is it? Premium malts? I guess it's Sapporo. Sorry about that. I'm not too up on the beers. Okay, the block's getting moist here. Chuk, chuk, chuk. Drink, 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 drink. I don't think we have millions of people watching these streams, so Orangina's sales just went up by 10 cases globally per year. Like they're going to notice that. It's funny though, it has though. I've seen on the stream here the past few weeks, somebody said, "Yeah, Orangina, I hadn't heard about that for ages, I'm going to try some." So their sales have... Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I don't know how much time we've got left here. We're okay, we're okay. Today, it's Sunday morning in Tokyo here. Yesterday in the shop, it was, whatever, you guys say the same thing every day. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. We're running out of prints. If I had the camera, I'd walk over and show you. When we opened the shop, each of the bins was full of stuff, you know, and now they're just running out. We've got all kinds of blocks. Our printers are working, trying to reprint. We're running out of stuff left and right. It's like you go into a convenience store and half of the showcases are empty of drinks and beer and food. Well, you're going to walk right out. I don't have an answer. And now we're facing October and November. My God, I don't know what to do. Anyway, let's get going. You saw what we're doing here. We'll just do the same thing again. The block is now warmed up. The moisturizing pad, the pad with some water in it, goes, adds just a bit of water, it goes back in its place. We've got pigment here, all right, paste here, I forgot to bring the black. I'm just stealing the black from the Peach Boy station, and not too much, and we're going to get in trouble here with the customers again. Just a dot at the bottom here. Then here we go with the brush, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Light touch, zoom off the ends, a little tiny bit of circle, 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 not too much because it'll bring the black up too high. I'm going to do a test sheet first. Where's that test sheet I put in here a minute ago? It's already drying. Small, tight circles. Small, tight circles bring the tool off the block. And that's what we'll have, a gradation behind the mountain. I can do it. Can the customers do it? Who knows? Let's keep moving before the wood dries out. Got to keep going, because once, if you pause to talk or chat, the block dries. in the parties, and people ask questions, we tell them, just shut up, let's do this, keep moving, we got to get going, we'll talk to me questions later. And every now and then somebody gets upset, well, I'm here to learn, and lady, just be quiet, do the thing. We try and do it a friendly way, lady, be quiet, just do the thing. And we'll have lots of time to sit and ask questions, but just do it. Probably your questions will be answered in the doing anyway. But we have to keep going, because if it dries out, we're dead. There was one woman in the bad TripAdvisor review we got. She was saying that David refused to answer my questions. And I did. I said, please, look, it's going to come up. Just get going first. All right. Ooh, but already, look, it's coming up too high. It's coming up too high. My God, what are we going to do with this? If I do it, it comes up too high. Stay down, Dave. Stay down. Down, boy. Down, boy. Cut it down a little bit. Sorry to rush through this, but this is printmaking. No time to sit and gap. Because if that block dries, we're hosed. So just, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. Didn't put pigment on, there's enough in there now. I see questions. I can't talk to you right now, sorry. In a real party, this is going to be chaos. I think we got to have our heads examined for trying this. This black is going to get everywhere. Look at that mountain pop. Ooh. Look at that mountain pop. Okay, there we go. The other thing about these parties is, of course, somebody will be doing this gradation, then they move along to the next block that's the key block, and the next person comes in to do this gradation. So the staff members, hopefully, are going to be riding two of these things at the same time, this difficult gradation block and the key block. And sometimes we have full members. Two staff members are here doing this, one staff member's in the shop, but the guy in the shop calls help. One guy runs out there, and all of a sudden you got one staff member in a print party, 4 or 5 people trying to do this block. I can handle it, but the beginners, the other staff members just cannot do this. I don't know about this whole project, I don't know. John is saying, don't allow anybody to do these blocks until they've done the other ones. But John, the number of people coming to our shop here who have already done one party, well, there are some once or twice a month it happens, but that's all. That's all. Well, whatever, 1%, 5% of the attendees, not even 5%. We get repeaters, but compared to new people, it doesn't exist. So I can't, if we advertise this and say, sorry, you can't do it, do another one and come back next year. Here we go. the key block, which in the real world comes first, but here in the print party room comes last. And there's a real big reason, for a couple of reasons for this. In the real world, the key block comes first because we print the key carefully, we let the paper sit for a day before we put the colors. If we print the key and go straight away to the colors, it all smears and gets crap, and on the yellow block the black smears. You can't do it. We can do it because we're willing to wait one day and take time. We can't do that in a print party situation. Why would we do the key first? So that we do the key first, bang, 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 they're all the same. It's a rainy day, maybe, who knows. Next day is a sunny day, the paper has shrunk a little bit. We didn't know, but the paper shrunk a little bit. We start printing our colors, oops, we can see, because the key came first, we can see it's misregistered. So we move the registration marks, we put more water in the paper, we play with it. By doing the key first, we can keep colors registered all the way down the line. If we save the key for the end, we don't have any idea. It could have been misregistered partway along. We have no idea. We get to the end, we've wasted 100 sheets of paper in a week's time or something. So in the real world, keys generally come first and colors come later. Here in the party room, it's backwards because of that. The customers don't know how to register anyway. It'll smear if they do it. And then also, by doing it last, boom, at the last step, their print becomes, wow, it looks so cool. So here in the party room, it's key last. Let me clean up to get ready for this last block. In the party room, of course, there's a separate tile for each station. We don't have to wipe it down after every block. The real party room has workstations all the way along. Today I'm doing it just in one place. And the block is dry. It's going to need me to get it warmed up first before we start printing, so just a few minutes here. The pigment here is the raw Prussian blue, the same one that was new in Japan when Hokusai was first designing these print sets. It was a stunning new color for them. They'd never seen anything like it before, and they went to town. Hokusai, Hiroshige, whatever, all the designers, all the publishers feasted on this stuff. And this color dominates ukiyo-e work through that era, I don't know the number, 1760s through no. When did it start? No. Give me a break here. Early 1800s, I think. When did this color come to Japan? 1840 or something? You see the depth of my knowledge here. How shallow. Anyway, all those years, the decades after this stuff hit, you see it in all the prints, the Hokusai prints, the landscapes, the Hiroshige prints. Not so much in figure prints, in beauties and stuff like that, but it dominates the landscapes. Skies, seas, mountains, you know. Somebody who's already found a Wikipedia page? 1830s maybe? I don't know, John, I'm sorry. But again, this one is going to be difficult to figure out how to get the customers to put the pigment on the block, because we need thick, rich paste here. Questions, questions, questions. Have you always had the key last for the print parties? No, I've been doing print parties for you know, whatever, 15, 20 years. They weren't always called print parties, but I've been doing kids' workshops and demonstrations for decades, since whatever, 30 years easily. So yeah, I learned very soon how to manage that sort of thing. Will I do something on brush care post-use? In the print parties, where the brushes just stay on the table all day long, and at the end of the day, for the print parties, as they do now, the staff takes them upstairs and washes them. Brushes have to get washed each day. We sometimes miss. What this is at the moment, this is just simply some Prussian blue raw powder in the bottom of this bottle with a squirt of alcohol and a squirt of water, maybe 50-50. I didn't measure it. The alcohol's probably disappeared. Prussian blue doesn't dissolve in water by itself. If you alcohol it, you need a surfactant. Big word. You need a surfactant. So you damp it with alcohol first, and then it'll dissolve in the water. Dissolve is not the right word. It's just in suspension. It's being carried in the water. There's no chemical change here. It's not dissolving and reacting with the water molecules. It's just hanging in the water. And if you let it stand, it all precipitates out to the bottom. Prussian blue, 1709. My God, and maybe that's the first time it was seen there, but it certainly wasn't used in prints extensively back at that time. So maybe Prussian blue was invented in Germany in 1709, something like that. I don't know. In Japan, here we are, 1830s or so. There you are. There you go. Somebody's got this. Dutch traders from China, manufactured in the 1820s. Very good. Thank you. That sounds about right, because it's the print series of Hokusai and Hiroshige. Just after that is where it first gets its really extensive use. So, and you're asking the wrong guy. You know, I'm not a historian here, so names and dates I know nothing about. I can't recite. In the parties, people ask me, you know, when was Utamaro living? And I'm like, I don't know. It perhaps reduces my credibility, but whatever. I don't care about that stuff. There's lots and lots of people studying that part of it. Ask me about wood and pigment and paper and I can answer, but ask me about historical facts and stuff, and I can't do much for you. Studying printmaking in India. Wow, cool. I don't think we get too many viewers from India, not that I hear about anyway. Sorry about that, oops. Indiana, okay. Well, maybe we don't get many from Indiana either. I don't know, no idea. Sorry about that. How to make friends and influence people. Okay, let's have a go at this. I'll do a test sheet first here. We've got our 4 little prints hiding there. And we had a test sheet we were playing with. We slapped some of the colors on it, so. Here's a test sheet. Trying to shield my shirt here. It's too late, but whatever. The print party patrons wear an apron for this stuff, of course. I can't bear aprons. I don't know. Blue. I can do it. Can the party attendees do it? Okay, let's go on to the real job. We have 4 sheets to do. It's already a little dry. This piece of wood is a really hard piece of wood. It's sucking moisture down into it as we speak. We really have to make sure that when there's a party going on, the party hosts get this block warmed up. And they'll do that the way we do it with the Peach Boy. The Peach Boy print, as they're printing the 3 colors, the staff prepares a wet cloth and it sits on the black block. So during the half hour while people are printing colors, that black block soaks up. And we'll do the same thing, of course, with this. I didn't do that today because the block wasn't open out on the bench here. And again, once I start going here, I'm going to have to go. I can't really sit and chat with you very much because it's going to be a go situation. If I slow down and talk, every few seconds I talk, you know, the block is drying out. Okay, here we go. Let's do this impression and we'll see how the microwave is going to look in real life. There's no way they're going to be able to do this. Soft on the mountain, tough at the bottom, tough here under the wave, soft at the end, soft on the wave, soft on the calligraphy, soft around the border, tough at the bottom. There's no way, no way, no way. Here we go. Microwave is alive. Look at that. Holy crap, it looks so nice. Hookside, thank you! That's part of the TV program we did, by the way, the other day. If you get a chance to see this TV program, they made me recreate, they asked me to recreate the scene I've talked about in the videos. When I was making the Great Wave print, the version for the shop, you know, whatever, you've seen, it's in the videos. I got in trouble, there was lots going wrong, my knife kept breaking, the wood split, it was just chaos. And Shiba-san, one of the staff members, asked me, did you go and, you know, ask Hokusai for permission to use this, you know? I looked at her like she was on another planet. Give me a break, he's dead, you know. She said, go to the grave and just talk to her. I just blew her away. And it went back and forth for weeks. I just kept getting in worse and worse trouble, worse and worse trouble. And she ganged up with me. She got the other staff members and they ganged up. They had an actual meeting. I came in, there's 4, 5, 6 of them. They had prepared some daifuku, a present. And she said, that's it. You do this or we leave. Like whatever, I forget the exact words. They ganged up on me. So I had to take this little snack food. I walked over to Hokusai's grave. And like, whatever. I put him down and just chatted with the guy for a minute. You know, here you are. I've been a bit of a bad boy, you know, we're stealing your print, we're making a copy of it, we're trying to do it with good intentions and blah, 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 blah. I come back to the workshop and you know the rest of the story. Just, it went smooth, it went easy, and the girls are all, see, you're living in Japan, do it the Japanese way, okay? And the TV producer had seen this in one of my videos, so he made me talk about this in the program. So it's one thing in this program. We went back over there to Hokusai's grave again. It was okay, I do this without any embarrassment. You know, whatever, I don't believe he's there watching. He's dead, he's gone, he doesn't exist anymore. You know, things like graves, they're not for dead people. Things like graves are gravestones, or they're markers for the people who are left alive. Of course, you know, dead people don't know that that stuff exists. But the culture is the culture, and you know, the people who are living should remember that stuff, and we do. And that was the point. That was the point of the exercise, I guess. So, anyway, I'm talking too much, but you can see what I'm doing actually too. I'm keeping this block carefully moistened, getting the pigment spread around, and it's time to run another copy here. Let's go. Number 2. Keep moving, Dave. Keep moving. Keep. There's lots of pigment now in the brush and on the block. For a key block like this, it's the same as I mentioned before, right? The pigment is everywhere, but the print itself only picks up pigment from the leveled areas. It doesn't pick up pigment from the underneath. And in the case of the key block, the cut lines actually are a very small proportion of the surface area of the wood. So we only took whatever 1/4 of the pigment up with us on the paper. 3/4 of the pigment that was on the block is still there. With a wide color area, it's the other way around. You pick up most of it. With a key block, no. go. 3 out of 4. The blue's getting a bit light. I think I need to add a bit more blue here. One more left. Just a touch of water here. Try to save what's left of my shirt here. How's our time? 9:10. We're okay, just finishing just nicely, I think. Today's Sunday. I gotta get this stuff cleaned up because there's a print party here at 10 o'clock. Peach Boy. Here we go. Here's the last copy of the last sheet in today's session here. Good. All right. There's a bit of a stripe you'll see. That's actually wet. That's going to fade out as the paper dries. It looks like there's a grey stripe here. It's actually all right. Now you can see it. So it's just in the water. There we have it. The blue might be, it could be a bit darker blue, I guess, in some circumstances, but that's it. That's what we're going to get for the microwave. Very nice. If we can get it to work. I'm okay, I can print it. We can train our staff to print it, but can we build a system that allows beginners to come in here and print it just by themselves with us just yelling over their shoulder? I don't know. That's going to be touch and go. Okay, that's it for the main content of this stream, I think, you know. What you just saw me do is pretty much what's going to happen in a print party with a few differences. As I told you, to try and maintain the quality of the color tone on the blocks, we're probably going to mix the pigment and paste together here so that people aren't in control of how much pigment. If we let them use the pigment, they're going to go bang, there's going to be way too much, and it will spoil the color balances in the print. Just one person making one mistake will spoil it for everybody. So that's one difference. The second difference is going to be how we control these lines and on the brush. We'll learn by experience if people are able to do this. If, you know, some of the girls are already thinking drawing lines on the blocks is not going to be enough. And what Shiba-san was suggesting is we should get the block and we should put a piece of wood here on top of the block, so that when people are rubbing, they put the brush on a piece of wood as a physical guide to rub their brush back and forth and back and forth. And I would like to avoid that because it's such a strange way of doing things, but if it goes that way and they just can't control this, then yes, we'll get the block ready, we'll close the guide, the brush runs between like train tracks, the brush runs along between this to try and keep them under control on the gradation. I really don't want to do that, but whatever, we're going to do what we have to do to make people, or to let people get out of here with a reasonable quality print. Another question is how long it's going to take. Our Peach Boy party, we can run 4 people through in an hour. When it's 5 people, it takes about 70 minutes. This is up to 5 blocks. It's gradations. There's more explaining. There's no way 4 people are going to get through this in an hour. So we're looking at an hour and a half, which means we're going to have to change our scheduling on the print parties. And of course now the staff is all, Dave, put the price up, put the price up, put the price up. It's already too low, 2,000 yen for a fabulous experience like this. And doing this, I don't know if it makes any sense at the same price. So I don't know, a lot of things are in flux, a lot of things are in question. First step later this week is I've got to get these pastes and things ready, then we'll do some testing. We'll do some, what do you call it, beta testing. Some people coming in the door, we're going to say, hey, come to your print party. Do you want to be guinea pigs? And we'll tell them your party is free, but you're going to be testers, or you're going to go for this, whatever. So we'll do some beta testing over the next couple of weeks. And based on what we learn there, we'll make our decision. We can either make it work, we can make it work at what price, or we just can't make it work and we'll fold these up and put them away, keep them for special events or something like that. This is why we haven't really publicized this too much. Come to Mokuhankan starting this autumn and do a print party with a Great Wave. Because still, it may not work. We'll see. Anyway. I haven't had a chance to read all the comments that are going on. I'm sorry. I've been having my mouth open through the whole stream here. I'm sorry. Yeah, 20 is cheap. It really, really is cheap. But, you know, what can I say? Anyway, I've got a ton of cleaning up to do here. There's a real party starting in a half an hour from here. I've got to get going. Thanks for watching the stream today. I'll get a chance to read what you guys said later on. There we are. The plan for the microwave, whether it will actually be able to happen in real life or not, we'll see. But there we are. That's what she looks like. Thanks for watching, guys. See you. I think I'll see you tomorrow. It's sizing. It's probably going to be a sizing stream tomorrow. Glue stuff upstairs. I'm not sure. We'll see. Anyway, bye-bye. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Man, if I got to get cleaned up fast now here. Where's the mic? Hey, off. Stop streaming. Bye-bye, guys. See you later. Thank you.